Well, it's the end of the day. The final video that's coming out today is gonna be a book reading. You know, well, you guys actually don't know this. I read a book every 3 episodes and sometimes even 4 when I'm too lazy to. Today well, I read earlier today, but now we're reading page 81 to 100. This is gonna take the life out of me, but I got my drinks right here. Drink, whatever. We will be stopping at page 91 to take a break and breathe, but don't worry about that. Watch page 90, whatever. We're starting at the woman at the checkout counter. So if you're reading with me, look for that. On page 81, the woman at the checkout counter. It's in the middle top of the page. I'll give you guys a second. This is a good drink. Love apple juice. Found it? Let's hope so. The woman at the checkout counter was obviously dyed, bright hair and false eyelashes that make her resemble a giraffe. Now, if you want your hair to look like a picture, you'll have to bleach it first, she said. Bleach it? How? Sarah asked. Her mom used bleach and water to clean the floor sometimes. Surely this wasn't the same thing. You want to get the peroxide that's back on aisle 2, the cashier said. When Sarah returned to the plastic bottle, the woman looked at her with narrowed eyes. Does your mama know you're about to color your hair, hon? Oh, sure, Sarah said, not making eye contact. She doesn't mind. She didn't know if her mom would mind or not. She guessed she would find out. Horrible mistake. Never do this. Well, that's good then, she said, ringing up Sarah's purchases. Maybe she can help you. Make sure you get the color on good and even. At home, Sarah locked herself in the bathroom and read the directions from the box of the hair color. It seemed simple enough. She put on the plastic gloves that came with the hair dye kit, draped a towel around her shoulders, and worked the peroxide into her hair. She wasn't sure how long to leave the peroxide on, so she sat on the edge of the bathtub, played with a few games on her phone, and watched some YouTube makeup tutorials. Someone just texted me or called me. It was a phone text. Hold on. Let's read it together, class. I did present. It was just my teacher being cool. Being a cool teacher. Where were we? Okay. Her scalp started to itch. Then it started to burn. It burned as if someone had thrown a handful of lit matches into her hair. She quickly typed into her phone, how long to leave peroxide in hair? The answer that appeared was no longer than 30 minutes. How long had she left it in? She jumped at her feet, grabbed a detachable shower head, turned the water on cold, leaned her head over the tub, and started spraying. The frigid water soothed her fiery scalp, and when she looked at the bathroom mirror, her hair was stark white, like she had become an old woman way before her time. The bathroom stank of bleach, making her nose run and her eyes water. She cracked a window and opened the bottle of hair color. It was time to complete her transformation. She shook up some hair ingredients in a squeeze bottle and squirted the mixture all over her hair and massaged it in. She set an alarm for her phone to go off in 25 minutes and settled in to wait. By the time her mom got home, Sarah was going to look like a whole new person. She played happily on her phone until the alarm buzzed, then rinsed off again in the detachable shower head. She didn't bother with the conditioner, the same that came with the hair color kit, because she was too anxious to see the results. Out off her hair and stepped over the mirror to new her. She screamed. She screamed so loud the dog started barking. Her hair was not platinum blonde, but sewage green. She thought of Abby when they were little, coloring their Barbie's hair with a green magic marker. Now she was that Barbie. How? How could she do something to make herself pretty and end up even uglier than before? Why was life so unfair? She ran to her room, flung herself onto her bed, and cried. She must have cried herself into a miserable sleep because The next thing she knew, her mom was sitting on the edge of the bed saying, "What happened here?" Sarah looked up. Hold on. Sarah looked up. She could see the shock in her mom's eyes. I was trying to color my hair. Wow, this chair sucks. I was trying to color my hair. Sarah sobbed. I wasn't a blondie, but I want to be a blonde. I wanted to be a blondie, but I have a pillow stuck in my chair. Go away, pillow. I wanted to be a blondie, but you're green. I can see that, Mom said. Well, I would say there would be consequences from you coloring your hair without my permission, but I think you're already experiencing some of those. You're going to clean up the bathroom, though, but for right now, we needed to see what we can do to make you look less Martian. She touched Sarah's hair. Oof! Feels like a straw. Listen, put on your shoes. The hair salon, the mall should still be open. Maybe they can fix this. Sarah put on her shoes and stuffed her moss-colored trees up under a baseball cap. When they got to the salon, Sarah yanked off the cap and the stylist cap. Well, it's a good thing you called 911. This definitely is a hair emergency. An hour and a half later, Sarah was back to having brown hair. Now a few inches shorter because the stylist had to cut off the damaged ends. Well, Mom said, once they were in the car on the way home, that was a big chunk of my paycheck. I probably should have just let you go to school with green hair. It would have served you right. Sarah returned to school not in a blaze of platinum blonde glory, but her usually mousy brown self. Still, when lunchtime rolled around, she resolved that, even without blonde hair, she was going to sit at the loser table. She served herself a salad bar, and then walked right past where Abby was sitting. She didn't need Abby to criticize her today. A knot formed in her stomach as she approached the beautiful's table. They must have decided today was jeans day because they were all wearing cute skinny jeans with fitted jewel-colored tops and matching slip-on canvas shoes. Sarah sat down at the opposite end of the table, far enough away where she didn't seem to be intruding, but close enough to where they could include her if they wanted. She waited a few minutes, expecting one of them to tell her to go away, but nobody did. She was relieved and hopeful. But when she realized that none of them even seemed to see her, she kept right on their conversation like she was invisible. She did not say that. Oh, yes, she did. No, yes. And then what did he say? Sarah pushed her salad around on her plate and tried to follow the conversation, but she had no idea who they were talking about. But she certainly wasn't going to ask them. Probably they wouldn't even hear if she said something. They couldn't fear her. They probably couldn't hear her either. She felt like a ghost. She picked up a tray and headed towards the trash can, desperate to get out of the cafeteria, desperate to get out of the whole school, really. But there was still a 7th and 8th period to suffer through. Boring social studies and stupid math. Lost in her suffering, she bumped right into a tall boy, dumping the remains of her salad on his crisp white shirt. She looked up to the ocean blue eyes of Mason Blair. The most perfect guy in school. The guy she's always hoped might notice her. Hey, which way you going? No, it should be hey, which way you going? He said, picking a cucumber slice off his expensive designer shirt. The vigorate covered the vegetable and left a perfectly oiled circle in the middle of the chest. Sorry, she squeaked and threw the rest of her salad. What? Mason wasn't wearing into trash Wait, what? What Mason wasn't wearing into the trash and half ran out of the cafeteria. What a nightmare. She wanted Mason to notice her, but not in this way. Not as an ugly, clumsy girl with frizzy brown hair who gave a new meaning to the words tossed salad. Why did everything have to go wrong for her? The Beautifuls never did anything stupid or clumsy, never humiliated themselves in front of a cute boy. Their beauty was like a suit of armor, protecting from their life's pain and embarrassment. When the school day finally dragged to an end, Sarah decided to walk home instead of taking the bus. Given how her day had been, she didn't feel like she could take the risk of being with a big group of kids again. It would just be inviting disaster. She walked alone, telling herself she might as well get used to solitude. She was always going to be alone. She passed the brown cow, the ice cream stand where the beautifuls went with their boyfriends after school, laughing as they sat together at the picnic tables, sharing milkshakes and sundaes. And of course, the beautifuls could scarf all the ice cream they wanted and not gain an ounce. Life was so unfair. To get to her house, Sarah had to walk past the wrecking yard with it. It was an ugly expanse of dirt filled with the destroyed corpses of cars. There were smashed into pickup trucks, squashy SUVs, and vehicles that had been reduced to nothing more than rusted heaps of junk. She was sure that one of the beautifuls had just passed the place so hideous on their way home, even though the junkyard was horrible, or maybe because it was so horrible. What? Even though the junkyard was horrible, or maybe because it was so horrible, she couldn't help looking at it. When she passed by, she was like a passing driver gawking at an accident on the side of the road. The car nearest to the fence definitely fit into the heap of junk category. It was one of those big old sedans that only elderly people still drove. The kind of car Sarah's mom called a land yacht. This yacht had seen better days, but once had a light blue, but now is mostly rusty. Orange brown in some places, the rust had eaten all the way through the metal. The car's body was so battered, looked like it had been attacked by an angry mob wielding baseball bats. Then she saw the arm. A thin, delicate arm sticking out of the trunk of the car. It was a little white hand with fingers outstretched as if it was a waving hello, or waving for help, like someone who was drowning. Sarah burned with curiosity what the hand was attached to. Sarah about to be murdered or found over? I don't know. The page is almost done anyways, I'll talk to it then. The gate was unlocked. Nobody seemed to watching. After looking around to make sure no one was nearby, she stepped inside the wrecking yard. She approached the old sedan, touched the arm, and then the hand. It was metal. From the feel of it. Ooh. She found the handle in the trunk, pulled it, but the lever wouldn't budge. The car was so dented and battered that the trunk wouldn't open or close properly anymore. Sarah thought of the story the teacher had read the class once in elementary school about King Arthur pulling the sword from the stone when nobody else could. Could she pull this doll, or whatever it was, from the wrecked vehicle? She looked around until she found a strong, flat piece of metal that could maybe work to substitute a crowbar. Sarah braced her foot against the car's crumpled bumper, slid on the metal inside of the trunk door, and pried upward. The first time she tried, it didn't give at all. But the second time, it flipped open and threw her off balance. She fell backward and landed on her butt in the dirt. She stood up to inspect the owner of the hand that she had been sticking out of the trunk. It was a discarded doll, outgrown, for the little girl and tossed in the trash at the end of the dump. The thought made Sarah sad. Sarah pulled the doll from the trunk and stood it up on its feet. Though once she looked at it, she wasn't sure doll was the right word to describe it. It was a few inches taller than Sarah herself, and was jointed so that the limbs and waist looked movable. Was it some type of marionette? A robot? A robot. Whatever it was beautiful. Wide green, long-ashed eyes, Cupid's bow lips, pink circles on its cheek. Face was painted like a clown's, but a pretty clown. Red hair was pulled up into twin pigtails, top of its head. Its body was sleek and silver with a long neck and tiny waist, rounded bust and hips. Legs and arms were long, slender, and elegant. It looked like a robotic version of the gorgeous supermodels whose picture hung off of Sarah's room. Where had it come from? And why would someone want to get rid of such a beautiful, perfect object? Well, whoever put this thing in the dump didn't want it, and Sarah did. She picked up the girl-shaped robot and found it surprisingly light. She carried it sideways, her arm around its delicate waist. At home in her room, Sarah set the girl robot down on the floor. It was a little tarnished and dusty, older than the trees, younger than the mountain, down by the knees. Country roads, I'm sorry, as if it had been in the trash heap for a while. Sarah went to the kitchen and got a rag of bottle cleaner that was supposed to be safe for the metal surfaces. She sprayed and wiped the front of the robot inch by inch, head to toe. The shininess made it even more beautiful. As Sarah got behind the small of its back, she finished wiping it down. She turned the switch position to on. Nothing happened. Sarah turned away, slightly disappointed. The robot was still cool to have, even though it didn't do anything. But then a rattling sound made Sarah turn back around. The robot was shaking all over, like either going to rev up or break down entirely. Then it went still. Sarah resigned herself once more to the idea that the robot wasn't going to do anything, until it did. The robot's waist pivoted, making its upper body move. That's not the end of this. I wish it was. That would have been a great. That's only halfway. Think about this. A robot that looks like a clown with red hair, pigtails, cheeks circled. I was right. This is Baby. And this is not a slimesicle joke like I'm Baby. Like this is Baby. Sister Location's Baby. Like okay, cool. My microphone's still plugged in. I wanted to double check. But like this is Circus Baby. Like this is 1000% Circus Baby. I don't know what she did, but she might have killed herself. Also, weird turn to make Scott Cawthon have what half of the second chapter of the book be about her and her life. He's an author. He's the author that did this. I guess if he didn't do that, we would not have known about BB Cream, Balloon Boy's working on some type of cream for your arms and stuff like that. But like, come on now. That's gotta be something. Let me go real quickly get a refill on this. I'll still be here with you guys, but I'll be back. I'm just over here though. I just need a refill on my Twinkie. Shout outs to the people that actually have drinkies. You know, like solid drinkies. Sorry, I got scared by something. But there's a cat in my house. I mean, a rat. I'm not scared of rats. I'm spooked by a noise. Which is my doggy. Hello. Sorry, my dog's under my couch. Go. Go. Cool. The dog just got out. Whatever. Let's read the next 10 pages. It slowly raised its arms and then put them down. Its head turned into a face. Sarah seemed to look at her. It was a big green eyes. Now this is Circus Baby. I have a person that would love to do this, but I can't get them on a phone right now because I don't got their number. Hello, friend, it said, with a slightly metallic-sounding version of a young girl's voice. My name is Eleanor. Sarah knew the thing couldn't be talking to her personally, but it felt like it was hi, she whispered, feeling a little silly for entering into a conversation with an inanimate object. I'm Sarah. Nice to meet you, Sarah, the robot said. Whoa, how had it said her name back to her? It must have some pretty sophisticated built-in computer or something. Sarah thought it was kind of a thing her brother might know about. He was in college, majoring in computer science. The robot took a few surprisingly smooth steps towards Sarah. Thank you for rescuing me and cleaning me up, Sarah, Eleanor the robot said. I feel as good as new. She gave a pretty feminine twirl, her short skirt billowing. Sarah's mouth was hanging open. Was this thing capable of actual conversation? Of actual thought? You're welcome, she said. Now, Eleanor said, placing her cold, hard little hand on Sarah's cheek. Tell me where the money is. I mean, you tell me what I can do for you, Sarah. Sarah stared at the robot's blankly pretty face. What do you mean? You did something nice to me. Now I must do something nice to you. Eleanor cocked her head like an adorable puppy. What do you want, Sarah? I want to make your wishes come true. Nothing really, Sarah said. Wasn't the truth. But really, how could this robot make her wishes come true? Don't roll with the punches. I mean, just roll with the punches. Everybody wants something, Eleanor said, brushing Sarah's hair away from her face. What do you want, Sarah? Sarah took a deep breath. She looked at the images of the models and actresses of the pop stars on their walls. She might as well say it. Eleanor was a robot. She couldn't judge her. She whispered, feeling embarrassed. I want to be beautiful. Eleanor clapped her hands. To be beautiful? What a wonderful wish. But it's a large wish, Sarah, and I'm petite. Give me 24 hours, and I will have a plan to start making this wish come true. I don't like this. The book is making me think, oh, Eleanor's a nice person, but I know deep in the bottom of my cold heart, it's like, I don't trust this. Okay, sure, Sarah said, but she didn't really believe for 1 minute that this robot had the ability to transform her looks. She couldn't even quite believe that she was having a real conversation with it. When Sarah woke up in the morning, Eleanor was standing in the corner as still as lifeless as any other decorative objects in Sarah's room, but no more alive than the stuffed Freddy Fazbear she had on her bed since she was 6. I don't like this. Maybe the conversation with Eleanor had just seemed a particularly vivid dream. That afternoon when Sarah got home from school, Eleanor pivoted her waist, raised her and lowered her arms, and moved smoothly over to Sarah. I made you something, Sarah, she said. Eleanor puts her hands behind her back, produced a necklace. It was a chunky silver chain with a large cartoonish silver heart pendant dangling from it. It was unusual, pretty. You made this for me? Sarah said. I did, Eleanor said. I want you to make me a promise. I want you to put this necklace on and never ever take it off. You promise you'll keep it on, always? I promise, Sarah said. Thank you for making it for me. It's beautiful. And you'll be beautiful too, Eleanor said. Since your wish is so big, Sarah, I can only grant it a little at a time. But if you wear this necklace and keep it on each morning, when you wake up, you'll be a little more beautiful than the day before. Eleanor held out the necklace and Sarah took it. Okay, thanks, Sarah said, not believing Eleanor for a minute, but she put on the necklace anyways because it was pretty. Looks good on you, Eleanor says. Now for the necklace to work. You have to let me sing you to sleep. Like now? Sarah asked. Eleanor nodded. It's early enough. Mom isn't even home for work yet. For the necklace to work, you'll have to let me sing you to sleep, Eleanor repeated. Well, I guess I could take a little nap, Sarah said, not entirely sure that she wasn't already asleep and dreaming. Get into bed, Eleanor said, moving in her smooth stroll to the side of Sarah's bed. Even though she was a robot, everything about Eleanor was so feminine and lovely. Don't expect me to sing if she sings. No, screw it, I'll sing. I have the voice. Sarah pulled back the covers, got into bed. Eleanor sat on the edge of the bed and stroked Sarah's hair with her cold little hand. She sang, Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, my sweet Sarah. When you wake, all your dreams will come true. Before Eleanor sang the last note, Sarah was asleep. Sarah was usually groggy and grumpy in the morning, but this morning she woke up feeling great. Eleanor noticed, standing in the still corner of the room, her inanimate object pose. Somehow Eleanor being there made Sarah feel safe. Okay, when we're at the end of this, I'll give you my thoughts. Maybe Eleanor was just an inanimate object, Sarah thought, as she sat up in the bed. But when she reached up and felt a silver heart pendant hanging just below her throat, the necklace was real. The talk she said with Eleanor must be real too. As she moved her hand away from the necklace, she noticed something else. Her arm! Both her arms, actually. They were slimmer, more toned somehow, and her skin was usually sallow but was healthy and glowing. The dry patches of skin she was grown to had disappeared, and both arms were soft and smooth to the touch. Even her usually chapped elbows were soft as kittens' noses. How do you know the feeling of kittens? Never mind. And her fingers, as she touched her arms, and with them, they felt different too, like stretched out of her hands to inspect them. Once stubby fingers were long, elegant, and tapered. Formerly short, nubbly nails were now longer than her fingertips, and shaped in perfect ovals, amazingly. They were also painted a gorgeous soft pink, with each nail looking like a perfect rose petal. Sarah ran in the mirror and gave herself a full inspection. Same mix and match, face, nose, body. Now a perfect pair of arms and hands. She thought of Eleanor's words from last night. Each morning when you wake up, you will be more beautiful than the day before. Sarah was definitely a little more beautiful. Was this the way it was going to work? Every morning's a different part of her that would have been transformed. She dared to be and darted to the corner where Eleanor was standing. I love my new arms and hands. Thank you, she said to the unmoving robot. So, like, am I going to wake up every morning, one new part, and I'm totally transformed? Eleanor didn't move. Her face kept on the same painted out expression. Well, maybe I'll just have to wait to see, huh? Sarah said. Thanks again. She stood on tiptoe, kissed the robot on its cold, hard cheek, and then hurried to the kitchen for breakfast. Her mom was sitting at the table with a cup of coffee and half grapefruit. Wait, what are grapefruits again? I don't know. I'm just gonna say, Wow, I didn't even have to yell at you to get you out of bed this morning, Mom said. What's going on? Sarah shrugged. I don't know. I just woke up feeling good. I slept well, I guess. When she poured some cornflakes in a bowl, dredged them with milk. They were usually passed on when I got home. I thought I was waking you for dinner, but you were out like a light, Mom said. She watched as Sarah shoveled in the cereal. And you're eating real food, too. Would you like another half of this grapefruit? Sure, thanks, Sarah said. She reached for the grapefruit. Her mom grabbed her hand. Hey, when did you let your nails grow out? Sarah knew she couldn't say last night, so she said, over the past couple of weeks, I guess. Well, they look fantastic, Mom said, giving her hand a squeeze before she let go. Healthy, too. Have you been taking those vitamins I bought you? Sarah hadn't been, but she said yes anyway. Good, her mom said, smiling. It's definitely paying off. After breakfast, Sarah selected a pink shirt that complemented her nail color and some extra time with her hair and makeup. At school, she felt a little less invisible. While she was in the restroom washing her hands, Jillian, one of the beauties, came in, checked her perfect face and hair in the mirror, then glanced down at Sarah's hands. Oh, I love that polish, she said. Sarah was so shocked that she barely managed to say thanks. Julian flounced out of the restroom, no doubt to join her popular friends, but she had seen Sarah and noticed Sarah, and she had liked at least one thing about her. Sarah smiled to herself for the rest of the day. Eleanor was mostly nocturnal, and the last of the winter daylight started to fade. The pivoted her waist, moved her arms up and down, and sprang to life. Hello, Sarah, she said with her tiny little voice. Are you a little more beautiful today than you were yesterday, just like I promised? Yes, Sarah said. She couldn't remember ever feeling so grateful. Thank you. Eleanor nodded her head. Good. Are you a little happier today than you were yesterday? I am, Sarah said. Eleanor clapped her hands. Good. That's what I want. To grant your wishes and make you happy. Sarah, still couldn't quite believe all this was happening. It's really nice of you, but why? I told you why. You saved me, Sarah. Pulled me out of the trash heap and cleaned me up. Brought me back to life. And now I want to grant you wishes like your fairy godmother. Would you like that? Her voice, while metallic, also sounded kind. Yes, Sarah said. Who wouldn't like a fairy godmother? Good, Eleanor said. Then never ever take off that necklace, and let me sing you to sleep. When you wake up, you'll be a little more beautiful than you are today. Sarah hesitated. She knew her mom had thought it was weird that she came home yesterday evening found Sarah already asleep. Sarah fell asleep early tonight. Her mom would worry that she was sick or something. Plus, there was homework issue. If she stopped doing her homework, that too would arouse suspicion, both at home and at school. I'll let you sing me to sleep, Sarah said, but could it be in a few hours? I need to eat dinner with my mom and to do my homework. If you must, Eleanor said, sounding a little disappointed. But it is necessary that you let me put you to sleep as early as possible. It's important that you get your beauty rest. Funny. After spaghetti, and an hour and a half of math and English, Sarah took a quick shower, brushed her teeth, and put on her nightgown. Then she approached Eleanor, who was standing in her corner. I'm ready, Sarah said. Then get to bed, like a good girl, Eleanor said. Sarah climbed down the covers, and Eleanor came to bed with her rolling gait. She sat on the edge of the bed and reached out and touched Sarah's heart-shaped pendant. Remember to keep it on always and never, ever take it off, Eleanor said. I'll remember, Sarah said. Eleanor stroked Sarah's hair with her cold little hand and sang her a lullaby. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, my sweet Sarah. When you wake, all your dreams will come true. Once again, Sarah fell asleep. She knew what hit her. She woke feeling refreshed, and then stood up. She seemed to stand a little straighter, a little prouder, a little taller. She ran to the mirror and pulled up her nightgown to expose her legs. They were magnificent. She was no longer stubby Mrs. Mix-and-Match with legless feet stuck to her dumpy body. Her legs were long and shapely, with toned calves and dainty ankles, a model's legs. And she ran her hands over them. The skin was smooth and sleek. She looked down and noticed the nails were perfect. Adorable toes were polished with some rosy pink as her fingernails. So Sarah usually wore jeans to school, the better to cover up her stubby limbs, but today she was going to wear a dress. She ran out of her closet and took out a lovely lavender dress her mom had just bought her last spring. She hadn't liked the way it looked on her then, but now it looked long, shapely arms, legs, and slipped on some ballet flats. Admired her reflection in the mirror. That is sadly the end of today's episode. But let me talk. Let me talk about this. I have a very, very, very big theory. And yes, it is a game theory. So, I'm thinking to myself, because it's baby. It's 1000% baby. I didn't drink my drink at all. So I'm going to close my drink and drink it, finally. My throat's starting to hurt. So yes, this is 1000% baby. Her name's Eleanor. But, I have a theory. A game theory. A book theory. That, technically, Eleanor is turning Sarah into a doll. Now, you could be asking me, well, how do you know that, Mr. Theory? In the part of the book where she first found her, she said, I found a doll. She's only a couple inches taller than me. A couple inches taller. Taller. Let's grab that. Grab that word, taller. She had beautiful, nice, toned arms, red hair with pigtails, and a beautiful makeup. So I say, she's slowly turning her into a doll. She's fake. Like how in the first book about Jonah or whatever the freak his name is. He was the only one that could see, like, he was the only one that could see his dad. His dad is a bunny, but everyone else could see his dad as his dad. So I think this is in the sense of, instead of Jonah seeing his dad, it's Eleanor sees her. So she sees her the same, but everyone else, including herself, looks beautiful. And the necklace always being on her, I think that's slowly but surely draining life force away. And technically, let's see how many more. So now we're gonna read 2 more times after this. And guess what? I bet in those 2 times she's gonna die. Not gonna lie, but like, she's gonna turn into a doll. This is a very weird book, and this isn't even the final one. Look at all. I made a vow, and I say I'm gonna read all the books. Look at the rest of these books. Fetch 135. That looks like her. That looks like the doll. Maybe that is the doll. Maybe it's not baby. Maybe this is baby. Step Closer. The book. I don't think it's out, but I'm really gonna. I think this is gonna be the first book I get if it comes out. And Bunny Call. There's also the other ones where it's like, Fazbear, fright. Okay, let me show you. Yes, this is ran off slides, like Google Slides. Bite me. There's the Silver Eyes. I do have that one. I do have that version in my thing, but I'm not gonna read a comic. That's dumb. There's the Twisted Ones, which is talking about the nightmares. And the Fourth Closet. It shows my boy Funtime Freddy, but you know. But yeah, so I think she's slowly but surely being turned into a robot. We'll find that out later. Have a super fantastic, wonderful day. Be polite, be efficient. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Grazie, mi amor.